Second mock draft. First one was done right after the lottery. We've done all of the prospect profile shows. So now let's see what's changed. Is it a lot? Is it a little? We go all the way out to the end of the first round, all 30 picks. Mock draft time. Michael Bolton, I wish you were my GM.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and one of my life goals was to appear on an episode of Supermarket Sweep. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter as always, at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That is linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. Double bang it out and thumb it up and comment and subscribe and follow and 5-star and all of that garbage. Mock draft time. Last time we only did the lottery. That's the pattern that I do. I don't know why I started doing it that way, but that's what I did. We do the lottery first, we do the prospect profiles, and then we push some mock drafts through. So now we've gone through, I think we did 9 prospect shows, maybe 10, about 50 to 65 different prospects we individually went through. There's, in the end, when I put out my prospect big board, when the draft is about to start, when I put out my dynasty rookie rankings, we go to about 100. Because obviously there are 3 two-ways per team as well. So we do get pretty extended there. I aren't? Jesus, that's not English. I haven't pushed it all the way out yet. I'm up to about, I think, 80 on my big board, and we're still sort of finalizing things. There's going to be changes over these next couple of weeks. And there's going to be changes in this mock draft from what I did last time. Now remember, a few things to remember. This draft is not very good. I don't care what you say. It is not very good. Yes, there will be good players that come out of it, but the top end elite talent staring you in the face is not there. That's just, I think that's clearly a fact. The hardest part of this draft is probably 3 through 12. I hate all of it. Not that they're bad players. I just can't find the right value for those players. I can't get my brain to move past why am I taking him at 3? That's the hard decision about this. This mock draft is not what I think is going to happen. I am not. I'll tell you why, because I have small sources. Very, very small, very marginal, not much. So I'm not going to come out here and tell you that I know what's going to happen. I haven't been leaked this information. And the information that would be leaked, I'd just be secondhand relaying it from guys like Jonathan Gavoni or Sam Vecini. These guys who do talk to agents and do talk to teams and know where teams are heading. So they put that out. So there's no point me telling you about that, of what I think is going to happen necessarily. Because it's just what they think. This is what I would do. This is how I value the players. This is what I would do if I was the GM of all of these teams. Now, I'm not going to be Troy Weaver because he got fired. Jeez, I wonder why that was. So, Detroit's got new people in charge. I'm going to do what I think would be the right move. And this, again, it's all a process. We're all working through it. We're all getting towards draft day and learning more and figuring out how all this fits. So, let's talk draft. This is my opinion. You'll say, this guy is definitely going top 3. Cool. Don't care. Not my problem. Whether he goes top 3 or not anything to do with the scope of this show. And there'll be players that you love more and go, he's the best player in this class, or he's top 5, and he won't get past this. Cool. Does not matter. Don't care. Now, you can have your opinion of where you would take a guy and how you value him, but that's not how I'm doing this draft. I'm not basing it on your thoughts. I'm basing it on mine. I'm not basing it on where the guy probably goes in the NBA draft. I'm basing it where I think they should. So that is the scope of this. And there are going to be comments. And at the end, I'll tick them off. I'll go through the comments, and I know you'll leave them through there. So that's all good. Not all of you. Most of you are pretty switched on and know what the story is. So we're doing draft. Let's just go to the top. The Atlanta Hawks have pick number 1. That hasn't changed since the last time we did this. Of course it hasn't, because no trades and the lottery's been done. We know this. I'm not I would find it very tough to think that I will end up moving off Alex Sarr as pick number 1. I had him pick number 1 at the start of the season. Not that he was like absolutely cemented himself in, but I don't think anyone else has jumped up to take that position away from him. So Alex Sarr, Atlanta Hawks, number 1. I like his value. I like his type of game. I like the archetype of a player who was a wing ball handler who grew into a big's body. And he's already got some of the shot blocking stuff down. I think he will shoot. I think he can score. I think he will be a defensive option. I think, the player shape, as you can see on the screen there, is Chet Holmgren. I don't think he's as good as Chet, no way. But that's sort of an idea of a player. Really like Alex Sarr. Can't see him moving out of number 1 at all. I don't care that the Hawks have Capella or Okongwu or Jalen Johnson. I don't care. Sarr is who they should pick, I think. Whether they do or not, honestly, not my business. It will be at some point, but it's not my business at this point. I also don't think I'm moving off my number 2 guy, and that's Ronnie Holland. Rugged Ronnie Holland. Yes, he was in discussion to be the number 1 pick before the season started. He had lots of shooting struggles in the G League, as basically everyone does that plays for the Ignite. It happens all the time. Size, 6'8", age, not yet 19. Big defensive numbers. Aggressive, athletic. I hate the fact that the player shape says Josh Jackson, but that's Josh Jackson at Kansas. And those numbers were good outside of the shooting, which never developed. And Josh Jackson obviously was, not quite switched on. I love Ron Holland here. Washington, you cannot look at Washington and go, nah, they're set, mate. They don't need anyone. They've got Corey Kispert and Denny Avdia. Yeah, all right, no worries. Good luck with 25 wins every year. Not to say that Avdia hasn't improved and he can't be useful, but you don't care. Even Bilal, who they picked at 7 last season, you don't care about drafting over the top of Bilal. Not that that would matter, because guys that play the 2, the 3, and the 4 become interchangeable. You don't care that Kispert's there. You don't care that Denny Avdia's there. You just pick who's there. And you don't say, well, I'm the Wizards. I need a center because Marvin Bagley's not cutting it, so I have to reach up for a center. To me, that's insane with the quality of how bad this team is. So I think Ron Holland's the second best guy. So I'll take Ron Holland at 2. Easy for me. This is where things start to go off the rails. And I've got the same guy at number 3 that I had last time. I've got Rob Dillingham at number 3 to the Rockets. Now, the Rockets do have pieces in place. Şengün is there. I think Amen Thompson is there as a key piece. There's Cam Whitmore. There's Jabari Smith. There's Jalen Green. There's Tari Eason. There are a whole bunch of guys there. There's Fred VanVleet at point guard. Now, is this a perfect sort of defensive ecosystem to deal with Rob's defensive shortcomings? Yeah, I think it is. Would he fit in nicely next to Amen Thompson? Would he fit in nicely as a Fred VanVleet replacement? Could he work next to Jalen Green? Well, that one's a bit iffy. But the size worries me for Rob. The scoring ability is there. The usage is there. I think he's probably a better passer than what you might think. Would never touch a top 3 in a regular sort of draft. But in terms of the Rockets, who can lean a little bit more towards need or fit versus best available. But I also don't think there's a clear best available at this spot anyway. So I am sticking with Rob at 4. At 5, yeah, there are some concerns that are coming out about his knee. But the San Antonio Spurs, at pick number 4, I'm going to take Nikola Topic. There's nothing serious about his knee at this point. We do get more information. I think there's the Adidas Eurocamp where more measurements and stuff go through and medicals that will get distributed about a Topic. But we saw nebulous knee injury reporting about Cam Whitmore last season that dropped him way down the draft. That is, at this point, very clearly a mistake. This point. Maybe in 10 years. Maybe he's out of the league in 5 years because his knees can't hold up. I don't know. But I'm not going to pass up on Topic at this point for nebulous... Well, he had 2 knee injuries that weren't massively serious. I don't care. He's 19. He's 6'6". I think there's going to be some shooting. He hit his free throws fine. The size is awesome. Again, the Spurs can't be 100% in a position to draft for need or fit, but we know they don't need a center. They've got Victor Wembanyama, Devin Vassell's there, and they're your 2 key pieces. But they desperately do need a point guard, and Topic sort of sits there pretty well, I think, as that large point guard who fits in nicely, I believe. And then number 5. This is where the change comes from last time. And honestly, I did this about 2 days ago, and I wanted to change it, but I already created the graphic, so that's how much I hate it. It's number 5. It's Detroit. It's Zaccharie Risacher. I don't know if this man is good or not. When we did the prospect profile, I said I don't really believe in him. I had him at like 10 or 11, and now I've bumped him up to 5 because I also don't believe in a lot of these other players either. Risacher's value, if it hits, is amazing. 19 years old, 6'9" wing. Allegedly he can shoot. Maybe he can defend. I don't know. But he also just might not do any of that. Maybe he doesn't shoot. And last time I had Matas Buzalis here for the Pistons, but he doesn't shoot. And I'm not sure that he will. But he is a solid defender. He's a drive sort of a player. But also on the Pistons, like, that doesn't make any sense. And I know it's hard to draft fit, but all these guys are so close to each other that if this is another person who can't shoot, well, that just exacerbates all of your problems. And maybe Risacher can't shoot, but maybe he can. So I'm going to take him at 5. I understand that all of the rumors out here will tell you that Zaccharie Risacher is going to go at pick 1 or pick 2. That seems to be the absolute consensus, that he's going in the top 2. Whatever. Doesn't mean I like him as the second best player or first best player, God forbid, in this draft. But at 5, I'm going to take Risacher, who's got some shooting upside, some usage upside, the size, the youth, it's all there. So let's go through, recap the first 5 picks of this mock. Number 1, we do go Alex Sarr, followed by Ron Holland at Washington. Number 3, I've got Rob Dillingham going to Houston, but I do think the Rockets are in prime position to maybe consider a trade there. I've got Topic going at 4 to the Spurs. And I've got Risacher, again, disgusting, going to the Pistons at number 5. Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. It is the formula for winning championships. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything that you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, whether it's superchargers, roof racks, big peak performance legends, the roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Speed, power, style, comfort, colors, whatever, buzz, riz, whatever it is you want, eBay Motors has you covered. With 122 million parts for your number 1 ride or die, you will always find exactly what you're looking for, no cap. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're not you're not a loser, you're the Rizzler. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it is easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to US customers. All right, that is 5 picks done and dusted. Still hate it. Still hate that pick. Hate Mr. Shade at 5. God, I hate it. What is wrong with you, Josh? Now we go to the Charlotte Hornets. Don't think I love this one either, honestly. Reed Shepherd shot 50% plus from 3 in college. That's ridiculous. It's amazing. We love that. How real is it? Well, it's obviously not real at all. No one's shooting that number ever. But I like the steal numbers that came through from Reed. I like his, the 3-point attempt rate is good. I think the passing is solid. The size is a worry, as it is with everybody. But Kentucky guard bump is there. Like, good shooting, awesome shooting, solid, strong passing, good steal numbers. The Hornets have issues at guard. Obviously, when the Melo goes down, they're cooked. Misic isn't the answer. Nick Smith isn't the answer. Trey Mann isn't the answer, I don't think. Shepherd might not be. Could Shepherd play next to LaMelo? Probably. Melo's got the size. Shepherd's got shooting. Got some defensive tenacity. Still hate it. Wouldn't take Reed Shepherd in the top 12 of a regular draft, I don't think. But here we are, to pick 7. Yeah, I guess there's a big change here with pick 7 because the guy that I had at pick 7 last time I've dropped pretty significantly down the board. This player here is not a huge surprise to see going at number 7. It is Portland at pick number 7. And I went with Matas Buzalis, who I did have at 5 last time, going to the Pistons. I dropped him back down. Jeremy Grant's not the future in Portland. We know this. Tamani Kamara, great story. Awesome find. Who cares? You're not worried about not drafting over the top of him. They've got guard pieces, Sharp, Simon, Scoot. Who hits there or not, we don't know yet. But they're there. Ayton, I could have picked a center there because he's obviously not elite or anything along those lines. But I think Buzalis' defensive value is interesting It's not something that many people talk about, but I think some of the defensive stats coming out of the G League Ignite for Bezalis are pretty real. The player shape of Jarris Walker is interesting. There is some drive ability for Bezalis. It was a weird spot for him. I'm not sure where the shooting ever goes. He's not a good free throw guy. He's not a huge passing player, but the defensive stuff is interesting. I think Portland can work with that with some bad defensive guards as well. And I just think there is value in what Bezalis brings that I don't want to let it slip any further than pick number 7. So that's what we're doing. So Matas Bezalis, who I had at 5 last time, moves down to 7. The guy I had at 7 last time was Cody Williams. He's not there anymore. Pick number 8. This is the same as I had last time, and I know this is wildly different to everybody else, but again, I don't care. Because I actually think Tyler Smith is going to be really valuable. The sort of archetype of size, with maybe weak side rim protection and shooting, and one of the only prospects from the Ignite ever who's been able to shoot, that gives me great encouragement. The player stat shape Brandon Miller-like is interesting. Obviously, that's more playing smaller wing than big, but that's interesting. Now, I do worry a little bit about the Jalen Smith comps, mainly because of the name and the big man who can maybe block and maybe shoot, but I think Tyler Smith is actually a legit shooter. And that player, whether he ever turns into a star, probably doesn't. But shooting next to Wembanyama, weak side rim protection next to Wembanyama, shooting instead of Sohan, Keldon Johnson's gone, trust me. I think that Tyler Smith's archetype is what teams are always looking for to fit next to other star players. I think you can scale up and scale down a little bit. Obviously, got to work defensively, and we've got to see how it goes on the perimeter, but it does help when Victor's behind you. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that gives you a little bit of confidence in it. So I'm sticking with Tyler Smith at 8. Honestly, I almost went with him at 6. I almost pushed him at 6 to the Hornets. I honestly almost pushed him to 5 for the Pistons to replace Isaiah Stewart in that spot. I really like Tyler Smith. I'm going to need to do more work on it because, you know, at some point I'm going to be like looking at it and saying, Josh, you're wrong here. So I'm going to be like deep diving into this to try and pick nits onto that evaluation. But I've got Smith at 8. I had this guy a little bit lower last time. We're going to pick number 9. Steph Castle. I was a little turned off with the inability to shoot. I'm a little turned off with the I'm only working out as a point guard type scenario. And yeah, like Memphis has a point guard. I'm well aware of that. But I don't care. Steph Castle's not telling me that he's only working out. That's fine. The bloke's 6'6". He's 19. 17, 7 and 4.5 per 40 is quite bad for college, honestly. Defensively, the stats not there, but he is a very good defender. The John Conchar thing, is that swaying me towards Memphis? I don't know. Probably not. It's not. I think he's got a little bit more offensive juice in him, but as a John Conchar, Marcus Smart replacement to fit in between Jar and Desmond Bain, to replace Jar in the Tyus Jones role when Jar is either on the bench, injured or suspended, like I think there's value in this. I think the tenacity and the grit and grind culture also works. But also, again, I don't love a lot of these guys, but there is off-ball roles here. There are on-ball roles. There are point guard developmental roles. And I think that's, you know, again, Memphis, are they going to care if he's like going to complain about being a point guard? I don't think so. They just said, look, you have some point guard spots, but do other stuff. And I think you can. So, yeah, I've got Castle up now at number 9. And that brings us to number 10. Push this guy up a few spots as well. I do think we might be overthinking Isaiah Collier. Isaiah Collier out of USC, I've got him going number 10 to the Utah Jazz. He was like top 5 heading into the season, had some struggles. I do worry about the free throw shooting. I don't know why that's so poor. But 30 usage, 30 minutes at USC, 21 with 21 points per 40, 6'4" point guard, 5.6 assists. Defensively, pretty strong. I don't love the Dennis Smith statistical comparison. The other comparisons are like Chris Dunn and guys like that, which is not great. They stick around the NBA for a long time. And Chris Dunn's already on the Utah Jazz at the moment. But I don't know that Keontae George is the long-term point guard. I don't know if he's a point guard long-term. But just having extra sort of bites at that opportunity to get good point guard play, George, Collier working together, not Taylor Horton-Tucker, I think it makes sense here. I do think we are overthinking the value of Isaiah Collier a little bit. So I want to rectify that, push him a little bit earlier, and make that selection. So the last 5 picks that we did, Number 6 was Reed Shepherd going to the Hornets. Number 7 was Matas Buzelis going to the Blazers. 8, Tyler Smith to the Spurs. 9, Steph Castle to the Grizzlies. And 10, Isaiah Collier to the Utah Jazzmen. Today's episode is also brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. When you are hiring for a small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. And that's why you got to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. It's not just another job board, old LinkedIn Jobs, because as you could probably tell by the unsubtle reference in the name, it's linked to LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is a network of over 1 billion professionals. So when you get your job going over at LinkedIn Jobs, it gets put under the wafting scent of your job post gets under the nose of all of those people. And small business owners report that they get a qualified candidate within 24 hours on LinkedIn Jobs 86% of the time. Now, you don't need to hire someone to work out whether 86% of the time is easily calculatable or not. You can get them for more higher end roles. But whatever it is in your small business, LinkedIn Jobs is there to help you. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnba. That is linkedin.com/lockedonnba to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Okay, so that is 10 picks done. That would mean we've got 20 left. So let's go to pick 11. I had the same pick here last time, and this will be the guy that you're going, mate, Donovan Clingan is going to go in the top 3. He might even go at number 1. Yeah, he might, but again, I don't care. I don't look at Donovan Clingan and say, yeah, this is the guy that I want to invest a top pick in. He had some injuries in college. He's big, obviously, 20 years of age, 7'2". Big man, lower body injuries that persist, and you play 23 minutes a night. First of all, sign me out on using that as a top pick. Secondly, can he do anything apart from Walker Kessler drop coverage and protecting the rim? I'm not sure. I have some worries about that. He had 25 usage in college without shooting threes. Is that anywhere close to realistic? Almost definitely not. Couldn't see that being anywhere close to what he does in the NBA. Now, 24 and 14 with 4.5 blocks per 40 is ridiculous. It's so good. It's awesome, clearly. But we've not got an extended sample size of big minutes from this guy ever. Small sample size towards the end of the season, but it's still nothing. And I just don't think that's worth investing in at the top 2, top 3. I think you can find a lot of very strong centers, obviously in this mock draft at pick number 11, but at 18, 19, 23, 30, 33, 35, who will do 80%, 85, 90% of Donovan Clingan. The Bulls need a backup at least for now because Drummond might not be back, and he's Drummond, and their starting center is Nikola Vucevic, who's also not good. So I think it makes sense for the Bulls to get him here, and I don't want to let Clingan slip too much past this. But yeah, I'm not as high on him as others are, and you're probably well aware of that. Now, last time, I actually had a center going ahead of Donovan Clingan in the draft, but I've actually dropped him down a little bit. I'm a little worried about the sort of negative wingspan of Kyle Filipowski. I still think that he's being horribly underrated. He can pass a bit, he can shoot a bit, he can rebound, he can defend, he blocks shots, he protects the rim. The negative wingspan is not great. I'm putting him at number 12 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And you might say, Josh, the Thunder won't go the sort of player they go for. That's totally okay as well. Don't care. I'm not Sam Presti. I'd have a lot more money if I was, but I'm not. So I think that Filipowski fits a little bit of, and when I say it's my pick of what I would do, I'm also using some of the Thunder ethos and some of the players that are around on that team already and how it fits. What's the thing you always hear about the Thunder? They want guys who can pass, dribble, shoot. There you go. Like, he can do that as a center. I think he can play next to Chet. I think he can obviously play behind Chet. He's got the size. He's 7 foot, 22 and 11, almost 4 assists per 42 blocks. 27 usage. He's never going to do that. But a guy that can be a bit of a, not a hub necessarily, but the way that Yusuf Nurkic maybe works with the ball in his hands, with defensive ability too, gives them some bulk, some strength, and it's not just a drop center who doesn't make any sense with their team. So that's where I am with Filipowski. Number 12, the Thunder. He will go way later than this. I got no question about that. Next, we go to pick 13. Now, I believe in real-life scenarios that this guy will not be here at this point. That's Devin Carter. because I believe that he's got a promise to go a lot earlier than this. We've heard the Grizzlies nibbling around the edges at number 9. There's another team in the lottery that allegedly has promised that they will pick him, which is, weird for a 6'3", 22-year-old point guard that you'd promise them in the lottery. But hey, some teams don't know what they're doing. Now, I don't think Devin Carter's bad. 22 and 10 per 40 minutes. I saw someone talk about a mock draft that had Devin Carter going to the Thunder. Said, man, why would the Thunder complain? The fans were going, we don't want this guy. It doesn't make sense for us. And he said, why would they complain? The Thunder need rebounding. Okay, that's cool, but he's a point guard. He's not averaging 10 rebounds per 40 in the NBA, most likely. Maybe he does. That seems unlikely. But defensively, the rim protection, the steals are great. Solid assist, just gets after it, does a lot of stuff. A bit older, obviously, and I don't love doing that, but I do think that he's got NBA pedigree. He's got real strong defensive abilities, Devin Carter. So I am pushing him up to number 13, which he wasn't there before. You want a Keon Ellis replacement because Keon is fine, but Carter can be better than Davion Mitchell. Maybe he's worse than Davion Mitchell. Who knows? That's what the draft, that's just how things happen sometimes. So I'm taking Devin Carter at 13 to the Sacramento Kings. This was the last pick that we did last time in the lottery because the lottery only goes 14 picks out, but I am keeping the same guy here, the dildo, the 7-pointer, John Furphy. There was some thought that he might drop out of the draft, so the fact that he's staying in, because I was talking about him with somebody that said, yeah, just watch Furphy. I think he's going back. But the fact that he stayed in the draft makes me suggest that he got very good feedback and intel from NBA teams as well, which does marry up to what I see with John. 6'9" wing, he's 19. Low usage, 18% at Kansas. I don't love that. But he can shoot. And I think he can do more than just shoot. I think he can cut. I think he can defend okay. He's got the size. He's got the wingspan. Well, not wingspan, but he's got the size and the length because he is 6'9". I'm not sure that he can pass necessarily. He's not the same player as Grady Dick. He's not that high of a usage guy that Dick was at Kansas. But again, we're getting forwards for the Blazers who don't have any. We're getting shooting for a team that struggles so much with that across the perimeter, and it's the wings especially. So you're not running Matisse Thybulle out there, or even like Chris Murray. He's young, time to develop with Scoot, with Shaden. So I'm keeping John Furphy at number 14. Now we go to Miami. Everybody and their dog will be out here saying, well, the Heat, they're just going to go Jaime Jaquez 2.0. Who's the guy that's an older player that is 23, that fits Heat culture? And they draft him and then they make everybody look foolish. Again, we as a collective, media, fans, whoever, jerk off the Heat to such an aggressive amount that it's comical. Like they're gonna fool us again. They're gonna get everyone. Okay, Jaime Jaquez wasn't as good as you think he was. The Heat lost in the first round. They got smashed by the Celtics. They were a play-in team the year before. Jimmy Butler might request a trade. They're not as good as you think they are. So, saying all of that, the guy that might be the Jaime Jaquez of this coming draft, I'm not putting him here. The Heat do take young players. Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Nikola Jovic. They take prospects. It happens. So I'm taking Tijan Salan. Now you must say that's not a Heat player. Don't care. He's 18. He's 6'9". He's a forward. They have no forwards. Remember that part of it. None. They play Caleb Martin and Haywood Highsmith. Jimmy Butler plays the 4. They got none. I still don't really know where Salan fits. Like sometimes I look at him and go, that's great. Sometimes I look and go, I'm not sure what you're doing. But he's 18. Some shooting upside, some defensive upside, good steal rate. Not going to be a high usage player necessarily, but I think he would fit next to Bam Adebayo as well. And there's a lot of buzz that he'll go in the top 10, and that's totally okay. Like if he's going to go in the top 10, he goes in the top 10. But in this situation, I've got him falling to 15 and Miami taking him. Because if you look into it, the Heat do not just take the old college player. That is not what they do. They did it last year, but that is not what they do. They are very much more wide-ranging in their selections. So let's recap. At number 11 was Don Klingon. Good name. Number 12, Kyle Filipowski. Number 13, Devin Carter. 14, the dildo John Furphy. And number 15, Tijan Salan. That's your top 15 of this mock draft. We've got 15 more to go. So now we go into the next part of the draft. We're looking at pick number 16, the Philadelphia 76ers. This is a guy that many of you will be saying, why have you not picked him? It's Dalton Connect. A couple of things. He's 23 already. I don't love that. I don't love it when someone has a 1 year leap in their age 22-23 season that puts them onto the radar a little bit or more than what they were any time in the past, and that coincides with it being a weak draft class as well. Connect, I think, is going to be a really good shooter, but also he's 23. He's 6'8". He's not 6'9". If he was 6'8", 6'9", I'd be way more interested in it. If he was 22, he would have gone in the top 10. But these factors, I'm not sure where he fits defensively. What does he do if he doesn't turn into the shooter? Because we all know, if you're an elite shooter at college, it doesn't mean anything. Well, it means something, but it doesn't mean you're going to be great. Who was the best shooter in last year's draft? Jett Howard? He did well. Grady Dick? Awesome shooter. Jordan Hawkins? Barely played. Doesn't mean anything, necessarily. And yes, Connect might be more NBA ready, just like Julian Strouder was. How'd that work out? Ashai Baji, NBA ready legend. It doesn't work this way. So, Connect is fine. Philadelphia's going to have... Honestly, Philadelphia's probably not going to hold on to this pick. But that's a guy that fits into that role behind if Tobias Harris is there or not. Who knows? Who knows what this team is? George Niang used to fill this sort of role. Maybe that's what Connect turns into, and that's fine. But I think that there's some significant overratings going on. The next one is pick 17. The Lakers are getting this pick. The Pelicans are deferring the pick to next year. So the Lakers get this selection. There's a possibility they trade this one off. There's a possibility they select Bronny James here. I won't be. I'm going to take Superman, Kal-El Ware. In this spot, the Lakers, it is very clear to me that Anthony Davis works best and the team works best when he is a center. But that might not be the case in future years. It might not be the case if LeBron isn't there. It might not be the case depending on how their roster works. And Ware, hyper athletic, has got some offensive upside, defensive upside. Yeah, there are some issues at times with him with focus and that sort of stuff. But this is a guy that I think can develop into a guy that can play next to Davis. Could obviously be his backup and do that better than Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood. And then, maybe in 4 years' time, Davis is 35 and Ware is a starter at 25 years of age. Maybe. I like him. He's got the size, scoring, shot blocking, athleticism, shooting, maybe, not sure about it. But he, after the Filipowski, Klingon center group, I'm not counting Sarr, but maybe I should. So Sarr, then Klingon, Filipowski, then Ware is the next of the centers to me in this group. Orlando's at pick 18. We know that they need shooting. I don't know that they know that they need shooting, or more importantly, I don't know that they care that they need shooting, because they actually did pick a shooter last season. He just never played, and that was Jett Howard. So I'm going to take Bub Carrington. 6'5", point guard, shooting guard, offensive engine type player. Who knows what happens with Fultz? Where does Cole Anthony move from here? Jalen Suggs is entrenched, but is Gary Harris going to be around? Carrington's got the size, the dynamism, decent usage, solid passing. 17, 6 and 5 per 40 is okay. It's pretty good. I think he's got some real upside. Now, is he the sort of guy that the Magic normally take? Not really. Do I care? No. So I'm taking Bub Carrington. I need to get some offensive value. I need to get some offensive dynamism. He doesn't need 30 usage. And he's not going to be the high usage player with Paolo there or even with Franz there. But maybe it does work better if Franz moves to a third in the offensive hierarchy zone. Like he moves there and Bub takes over at number 2 eventually. I just think getting some offensive guard help with Fultz and Cole, and I know Cole's under contract, but who knows? And Harris and all these guys, the uncertainty just being there. I'm going to take Bub Carrington for the Orlando Magic. Number 19, I'm going to take Jared McCain from Duke. That goes to the Toronto Raptors. Yes, they've got Emmanuel Quickley there as their starting point guard, but that's okay. We've got Dick, we've got Trent, we've got McCain, who can be a combo guard. He's 6'3". He probably is more of a point guard than a shooting guard, yes. But we know that Quickley can also play both guard positions. Interchangeability is key. Some pretty strong numbers from him. Good shooting numbers, great free throw numbers. Not a high usage player, a scalable player. 20 years of age, 6'3" guard. I think McCain, there's easy arguments for him to go ahead of Bub. There's arguments for him to go ahead of Connect and Ware. There's arguments for him to go ahead of Furphy, honestly. If you made the argument that Jared McCain is better than Devin Carter, sure, no worries. He's 2 years younger as well. But this is where this draft is, again, weird. I hate that top of the draft. I hate picking at 5 and 6 and 7. But now I've got probably 30 guys who I think could be between 12 and 20. And McCain just, in this update, falls down to number 19. Going to the Raptors. This is the biggest fall, I think, in this entire mock draft process, and that's the pony, the little Bronco, Cody Williams. I had him at 7 going to the Blazers, and I thought, okay, the size is there. I know he started out the season shooting red hot, the frame, all that sort of stuff. But the more I look into it, the more I'm like, yeah, I think there's a lot of bump going on here for Cody Williams because of his brother. Can he defend? At this point, not really. Like, the defensive stats aren't there. Compare him to Jalen, they're not there. The shooting was great, and then it fell off completely. He got injured. Yeah, that's a factor. Is he a usage guy? I don't think so. Is he a passer? Not really. Can he defend at this point? No. Positional size, positional value is huge. The Cavs do need that. They play 6'4" Max Strus at the 3. Or Karis LeVert or whoever. Williams wouldn't be pressed into immediate service, I'm guessing. But these players, if they hit it, it makes sense. And again, now I'm looking at this and go, do I really like... He's 3.5 years younger than Dalton Knecht. He's bigger. Would I take Knecht over him? Like, I don't know. I'm probably more confident in the next 2 years that Knecht has NBA value, but long-term, I don't know. I'm all over the shop with Cody Williams, honestly, but I'm obviously much more out on him now than I was when we did that first mock 2-3 weeks ago. So I've got Cody Williams going at pick 20 to the Cavs. Let's recap the last 5 picks. Pick 16 was Dalton Knecht. Going to the Sixers at 16, I don't think that Philadelphia are going to hang on to that pick, honestly, but there's no team that's more in flux than the Sixers at this point. So I don't think that he's going there. 17, I had Kyle Elware to the Lakers. 18, Bub Carlton Carrington to the Magic. 19, Jared McCain, you've done it again, to the Raptors. And number 20 was the pony, the little Bronco, Cody Williams, going to the Cavs. Pick 21. This is the guy that people think is this season's Jaime Jaquez. And by that, do they mean someone who shoots well above his head for the first 10 games and people overrate the absolute crap out of and then talk about how he should be top 3 in a redraft? Is that what they mean by the next Jaime Jaquez? I'm not sure. But it's Tristan da Silva, who honestly probably should have come out last season. I don't think he improved his stock really at all. He's 23 as well. He's a 6'9" forward. Love the 6'9" forward part of it. What does he do? Well, everything. Did he do any of it well? Not really. But he's good. He's solid. He's teammates with Cody Williams, who went 1 pick before him. The Pelicans, they might trade Brandon Ingram. I don't know. What do they do with guys like Najee Marshall, who's a free agent? Bringing in depth forwards behind Zion. Maybe Trey Murphy steps in and starts in place of Ingram. Other players come in. Who knows what happens? But Da Silva, strong role player type of guy. And you're pick 21. You want a role player type of guy. Phoenix. I don't know whether they keep this pick. Who knows? With that team, they don't care about the draft or prospects or scouting or development at all. And that's been their MO for years. So I don't know whether they hold on to this pick or not. Are they honestly going to pick Bronny at 22 and try and think that LeBron's coming? All this seems insane. Drew Eubanks was very bad this season as their backup center. Bol is not a center and he's not as good as you think he is. Maybe you don't think he's good, but he's also not that good anyway. Is Yusuf Nurkic the answer? Nurkic was fine, but he's not the answer. So I'm going to take Deron Holmes, the second, as a center here for the Suns. Now, he wouldn't be pressed into immediate action, but he is 22. He's 6'10". He shoots a little bit, gets to the line a million times. He's a good rebounder, solid scorer, high usage big who wouldn't have that role at all in the NBA, but that's okay. Can protect the rim. Should have come out last year in the draft. Did so much for Dayton. Obviously their big key piece. I think, again, this is why I don't rate Klingon so high, because I can get Ware, I can get Holmes, Filipowski, other centers who are going to come up soon, who probably be a chance to be as useful, if not more. So I'm going to take Deron Holmes, Deron Holmes, from Dayton at number 22 to the Phoenix Suns. It's got a pick 23. It's the Bucks. So the Bucks and Pelicans had a pick swap here. So the Bucks pick actually was 21 and the Pelicans 23, but the Pelicans were able to swap that one and get 2 spots higher. This is pick 23 to Milwaukee. Dr. Rivers hates rookies, hates young players, hates anybody that hasn't played in the NBA for 10 years. We know this. I'm not sure how long the doctor's going to be around, but I just really like Trey Alexander. If I was the GM of the Bucks, I wouldn't have hired Doc Rivers to begin with. But I'm also not going to dictate my drafting process based on what idiocy that Doc Rivers goes under and does for years and years and years. Trey Alexander, another player like Daron Holmes, who should have come out last season. He's 21-year-old, 6'4" wing who actually played point guard this season. He's more of a 2, but can play a bit of 2, bit of 3, bit of 1. And behind Damian Lillard and Chris Middleton, Malik Beasley. I really think, and I think probably when I dig more into this over the next week, he's going to move up my board, Trey Alexander. He can shoot, he can pass, he can handle, he can adapt. And that's key. On a team with superstars, adapting, biding your time, doing bits and pieces, you get to 25 in 4 years' time, and then you're starting, and then I really think that there is long-term starter potential for Trey Alexander. The Knicks have 2 picks in a row coming up here. Pick number 24 is the first of them. No idea whether they keep both of them, but it does appear that Isaiah Hartenstein is going to be priced out. And it's not that the Knicks won't want to pay him the money. It's they literally cannot, according to the salary cap room, pay him the money. So if he gets 4 years, $100 million, they cannot match that. He would need to take a gigantic discount down to about $16 million a year to stay with the Knicks. Mitchell Robinson, ankle surgery legend. Who knows where he's at? Jericho Sims, I know where he's at, not in the NBA. So I'm going to take Yves Missy. Athletic big man, good shot blocker, some offensive value, but not huge amounts. But this is, again, I said I don't want to draft for Doc Rivers. I don't 100% want to draft for Tom Thibodeau. But I also understand that in the short term, at least, that a player like Missy would have some value for Thomas. But I also think there's more to what Missy can do. Out of Baylor, 7 foot tall. He's big. He's athletic like crazy. Rim protection's there. There's a role potentially opening up. And just another in this, I call it the Jarrett Allen zone. Not number 69 for the Minnesota Vikings legend Jared Allen, but Jarrett Allen. These centers who you don't want to go too high on, but they're still really bloody useful. And I'm going to put Missy in that group as well. Next is the Knicks' next pick. It's pick number 25. No idea whether they keep this pick, but I like what Bobby Klintman is able to do. He's been able to show numerous different things. Finishing, sure. Shooting, yep, a little bit of that. Playmaking in his national team, yes, that's not going to happen for the Knicks. But we all know they've got no forwards. Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo played power forward at times. Juice McBride was there. President Chu was a center. He was playing power forward. Like, their roster was all over the shop. And Klintman's not going to contribute. It's Tom Thibodeau. He's not going to contribute immediately at all. He's 6'10" though. 18 and 9 per 40 for Cairns in the NBL. 21 usage as a young player. 47% three-point attempt rate. He's really interesting. Got to the line. Very efficient. Transition guy. Like it. Playing next to Jalen Brunson, I think, would help him a lot. So, I love that fit. Obviously, I made it. But I made the picks. I love him there, though. Bobby Klintman. Whether that works out or not, I don't know. Let's recap those last 5 picks. At number 20, what is it? Number 21, Tristan Da Silva to the Pelicans. 22, DeRon Holmes, the second, to the Suns. 23, Trey Alexander to the Bucks. And then the Knicks, who I do think have a chance to trade one or both of those picks. We know that they love trading out of picks, getting future picks, but they're not going to pick 2 in the 20s, I don't think. 24, Yves Missy. 25, Bobby Klintman in that position. Bobby Klintman. Players like that might be hard to find. Let's go to the last 5 picks. Yes, the National Player of the Year has not been selected yet until now. Zach Edey, pick 26, Washington Wizards. Edey, again, like, this is a guy that put up dominating numbers. Why did he dominate in college? 2 reasons. He's 75. He's not 75. He's 7'5". Huge reason, right? He's also older than most of these prospects. So Edey's value of 32 and 15 with 2.7 blocks per 40 is amazing. He's not going to have 33 usage in the NBA. He's not going to have 81% 3-point or free throw rate. He's not going to get to the line that much. He's going to have real defensive problems. But he's going to be better than Luka Garza, who's an offense-only big man who dominated in college. But I'm not high on him that high. The Wizards do need a center. Is he better than Marvin Bagley? Not yet, but he could be. Is he better than Tristan Vukcevic? I don't know. Maybe. I'm just not that interested in Zach Edey. He's just not a prospect that I love. Is he useful? Is he a rotation player? Is he a spot starter? Probably yes. But I think there are some real significant deficiencies that are in his game that will show up at the NBA level. But here we go. As off the board, pick number 26, Zaccharie. Let's get wild. Pick 27, Minnesota Timberwolves. I love that they've got Josh Minot. I love that they've got Lennon Miller. But what are they going to do? Are they actually going to trade Towns? That would seem insane, but will they? What do they do with Gobert and his contract? What do they actually need for a team that was, as good as they were in the conference finals? Let's just get crazy. Let's take Ulrich Chomchi. 6'11", 18, turns 19, New Year's Eve, basically. Go watch some highlights of him. There's only 3 games worth of action that we can see from him, but he just looks like he knows how to play. Love the three-point attempt rate as a big man. Not sure he's going to be that sort of a player, but I don't know. But getting a guy just who fills that 4 position, like my argument with Tyler Smith earlier. Different player, but can you shoot and defend at the 4? Let's go. Absolute untapped potential for Chomchi. We heard the story when we were talking with Chuck yesterday about him not playing basketball until he was, 15, 16? From Cameroon, NBA Academy in Africa. Shooting, defense, rebounding, size, smarts, positioning. I loved it. I loved the tape. I'm taking that flyer. And honestly, I think he's going to creep up even further when we do more updates on this. Pick 27, Ulrich Chomchi, going to the Timberwolves. Pick 28 is the Denver Nuggets. Reggie Jackson looks not great. Who knows what they do with their tax situation and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Do they make trades of like Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray? Okay, what do they do? I don't know. Probably nothing. Hopefully nothing too outrageous. But local guy from Colorado, smart player, KJ Simpson. He's undersized, sure. A lot of undersized players have had success. Doesn't mean it's the normality, but they can. KJ is a guy that drove a lot of stuff for Colorado. Good steal rate. Strong assist to turnover. Elite efficiency. Not sure that he would play an immediate role. They picked Jalen Pickett last season. He never played. I think Simpson's a better option than Pickett. He is 22. He's very small. And that's a drawback. If he was 6'5", he'd go in the lottery. But his ability to be a pest, to shoot, to be a passer is all really valuable. And I'm going to take KJ Simpson at 28. 29 is the Utah Jazz. They picked Isaiah Collier back at number 10. Doesn't mean I'm not going to take a guard here, because I am. Hadn't really done much work on Jalen Tyson prior to discussing him with one of the draft guys. I can't remember who it was. Apologies to that man. But Jalen Tyson from Cal, he's 21, he's 6'6", he's a wing. He did bits of everything. 30 usage, but he can scale that back. He passes, he shoots, he gets the line. 22 and 8 with 4 assists, with 1.4 steals per 40. They're all really strong numbers. Can he play next to Keontae George? Can he play next to Isaiah Collier, who I drafted in this scenario? Next to Lauri Markkanen? Does he fit as a tweener sixth man? He's not really a tweener, but he's sort of a guy that floats between positions. Could he fit next to Colin Sexton? Yeah. I just think he's a smart player who does so many different things. And that's what I'm doing at that pick. Lastly, pick 30. I don't really know how to feel about this guy. I think I hate him as a prospect. I think I hate the value of him. And he probably is not going to go this late at pick 30 to the Celtics, but I'm going to end up going with Jacoby Walter here. I worry about shot selection efficiency as a shooting guard. He is 6'6", he's 20 years old, but only 23 usage in 32 minutes. Efficiency was horrid. 47 effective field goals, horrid. No passing numbers really at all to speak of. Bad assist to turnover ratio right on 1. It's not that sort of a player. I don't really know who he is. Well, actually, what I do know is is he Lonnie Walker, which I don't love as a player. So, where are you? But there is enough there. There's enough pop. There's enough interest where I sort of got to go, okay, I really don't like him as a player, but maybe there is something here that I'm missing, and there probably is. So I'll slide him in at number 30, and then we'll do reassessments on this as we go through. You know how all this runs. So Jacoby Walter goes at number 30. Let's just go back and recap the picks from 1 to 30 before I get out of here. And you can start to think of your hate comments. Now, if you're going to leave hate comments on YouTube, be creative with insults. Be really creative. I want to see no, I don't want to see, bro, you don't know ball. I hope this isn't your job. They shouldn't let everybody talk basketball. That's played out. I've heard it. Do other stuff. Go, bro, I think your hairline's receded so far back it's taken your brain with it. Go with it. Be aggressive. Be creative with your insults. I know what you're going to say. Zach Edey, he's going to go higher than that. Risacher is going in the top 2. Dalton Connect's a top 10 player, bro. This class is actually not bad. It's actually really good. The experts don't know what they're talking about. I know what other comments are there going to be in this. No way Cody Williams at 20. That's going to be one of them. The Heat will definitely not take Salan. They'll take the next Jaime Jaquez. Right? I know these comments are coming. Get them out there. Make it interesting for me. Pick 1 was Sarr. 2, Ron Holland. 3, Rob Dillingham to Houston. 4, Nikola Topic to the Spurs. Number 5, Zaccharie Risacher to the Pistons. Number 6, Reed Shepherd goes to Hornets. Wait, that sounds so stupid. Goes to the Hornets. I'd love it if Bobby Clintman could find his way to the Hornets. Matas Buzalis to Portland at 7. Tyler Smith at 8 to the Spurs. Steph Castle. Tyler Smith, mate, he's in the 20s, not top 10. Cool. There's another one for you. It's free of charge. Steph Castle at 9 to the Grizzlies. Number 10 is Isaiah Collier to the Jazz. Number 11, Star Trek legend Donovan Clingan goes to the Bulls. Number 12 is Kyle Filipowski to the Thunder. 13, Devin Carter to the Kings. 14, the Dildo John Furphy goes to the Blazers. And number 15 is Tijan Salan going to the Heat. Number 16 is Dalton Connect going to, oh my God, if I had the ability to play the old sound drops, who's seen the old Big Connect meme? Big Connect! I would have played the absolute crap out of it. Can't do it, so that's your example there. Dalton Connect, 16. I think the Sixers will trade that pick, but I've got him going to Philadelphia at 16. Superman Khalil Ware goes to 17 to the Lakers. Number 18 is Bub Carrington to the Magic. 19 is Jared McCain, you've done it again, to the Raptors. And number 20 is Cody, the Little Pony, Williams to the Cavs at number 20. 21 is Tristan Da Silva, born in Germany, Sri Lankan last name, playing for the Pelicans, whatever. 22, Deron Holmes to Phoenix. 23, Trey Alexander to the Bucks. 24, Eve Missy to the Knicks. And 25, Bobby Clintman to the Knicks. No chance the Knicks keep both of those picks. Number 26, to wrap it up, was Zach Edey going to the Wizards. Bro, you don't know ball. Number 27 is Ulrich Chomchi at 27. 28 is KJ Simpson to the Nuggets. 29, Jalen Tyson to the Jazz. And number 30 is Jacoby Walter going to the Boston Celtics. And that, finally, is the end of the mock draft. Still hate it. One thing I can guarantee you, though, is that when we do mock draft 3.0, it's going to be different because I'm going to be changing my mind a lot in these coming weeks heading up to the NBA draft. Guys, you know what to do. Bell, subscribe, comments, dinglings. It's all there. We do it all. You do it all. And we're done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya. Bitcoin.